Ladies and gentlemen, before I even start, I think I'm going to break the protocol by saying and congratulating Damon, because I think his talk made me cry. So, well done, Damon. My talk today is simply about my working life. I started my working life at the age of 17, and I'm still going strong at the age of 59 as a minister. During my life, circumstances has made me change my career. At the age of 17, while still in school, I did my bronze medallion, and I thought I'd be a lifeguard. And that's what I did during the summer months. But at that early age, at 17, I realized how important it was that people's lives were in my hand. And I'd had to be pretty responsible at being a lifeguard. But yes, at the down times, it was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun with my friends as a lifeguard. And I do not have any photographs because I don't think I should be even showing them. Be that as it may, I enjoyed the work as a lifeguard, but during that time as well, I was offered jobs like sweeping up the rock and cleaning the beaches very early in the morning. And that gave me even more money because I was paid overtime during that time. And at a very early age, I knew how important it was to make the best of your job and try and earn as much money as you could. At the age of 19, and the teachers used to tell me that I was going to get my pension in school because I was already 19 going on 20 and still in school. And it was because I was not a student, like a normal student. I didn't study. I did very badly in my O-levels and my A-levels. And I was repeating them and wanted to stay. I'm a product of the guinea pig year of the comprehensive system. And therefore, all those changes during those years affected us. But, we were given chances. And I was repeating and repeating every time until the age of 19, nearly 20, when I left school. When I left school, I was unemployed. I didn't know what to do. And my friend Freddie Ballester, because I used to play pool, Freddie the plumber, says to me, "Do you want to be my mate? I've got a big job to do." I said, "Yeah, come on then." So I embarked on learning how to be a plumber with Freddie. And we had to do the old Mediterranean hotel, all the piping system. What did I learn from there? That planning in a systematic way was very, very important. Because if you didn't stick the pipes properly and you put the water on, you're definitely going to flood the whole place. And Freddie was perfect. He knew everywhere. He'd tell me to sandpaper every little corner pipe, because he knew that when you put the water on and you hadn't stuck a pipe, the whole thing will go. So it just taught me another lesson, how to plan things and be systematic. Once I did that job, I said, right, okay, what am I going to do with myself? So I embarked on going onto the outer world. So I went off to London. I wanted to make it in London. I was only young and I didn't know what to do, but I had my aunt who lived there, and she said to me, "Well, you can stay a couple of weeks with us," which I did. My uncle offered me a house to live and rent, and he said to me, "If you want, fill it up with your friends. Get the money from the rent, and there is your house." The problem is that the house was in north of London, in Archway. Out of this world. It was impossible, a dark, horrible place. But I used to go and meet my Gibraltarian Janito friends who were studying or working in London. And there I used to have a lot of good, fun time. I was looking for a job. And one of my friends says to me, "Why don't you come with me?" Because he was actually in a market stall selling leather jackets. I said, okay. He says, because the stall opposite needs someone to sell. And I said, but what do they sell? Ladies' pleated dresses. I thought, but how are we going to do this? Well, anyway, I went there, spoke to the owner of the stall, and the guy says to me, yeah, okay, look, this is the price, these are the sizes. The fun we had was just incredible. I tell you, I think I sold 3 dresses in about a month. But it was fun because the friend I had who was practical joker used to see people going around and say, Ma'am, this leather jacket really suits you. And there come me with a pleated dress and saying, yet this fashion, leather jacket with pleated dress. Oh, wouldn't you look lovely? You know what? Didn't sell any. So, during that time, as a joke as well, with my friends, I said, I'm going to apply to Harrods to get a job. Harrods? Look. I applied to Harrods. Lo and behold, they asked me for an interview. I get employed in Harrods. The HR manager says to me, Mr. Linares. I said, excuse me, is that me? My name is Linares. Oh, I didn't know that. You are now going to go to the bakery department. Thank you. So there I spent in the bakery department about 2 months packing Christmas cakes, taking them from the store to the shop in decorated tables. The downside of that is that because I lived in Archway, I used to have to get up at 5:30 in the morning, get my breakfast, walk 20 minutes to the tube station, 1.5 hours to get to Knightsbridge, to start work at 8:30. Be in the warehouse from 8:30 to 5:30, all dark, during the time I was working with all artificial lights, 1 hour lunch break in which we weren't allowed to leave the premises, and then 5:30, finish work and take 2.5 hours to get back to Archway, where I got there about 8 o'clock in the evening, make myself supper, to go to bed again, to get up again at 5:30 in the morning. Well, for me, that's not life. So, what did I do? I just decided that I'm coming back to sunny Gibraltar. That's my experience in London. I didn't want to go to London anymore. So, after coming back, my late father was insistent that I should be going to Barclays Bank as a bank clerk. He spoke to a friend, me enchufaron. I was there working as a bank clerk. 3 months I lasted. The fact that I had to wear suit and tie, that I had to be in the counter, taking the flack of customers coming and complaining about their ledger and their statements that weren't correct and all that. I didn't even know how the ledgers worked, and the statements worked. And I got all the stick. People, doesn't know what he's talking about. And me, suit and tie, young guy, I thought, this is not for me. So at that time, I went to the manager. I did not tell him a few nice things. I resigned, but at the same time, I'd already got another job prepared, which was as a delivery driver. Enjoyed it no end. Dressed with my jeans, every day out in the streets, driving, meeting people, people, sensible people, not the people who used to come to the bank. So what I did was, sometimes it was a bit stressful. Why? Because you had to go, for example, all the way up the hill to the Myers ramp and up the road to the lines with all the boxes. You knew the car was obstructing down there. You didn't know whether the shop was going to be open. You're carrying all the boxes up there, and then the shop is closed. So you had to walk down. Anyway, that was a bit stressful, but at the same time, I really, really enjoyed that. I did that for 4 years, actually. But obviously, that was not going to, I'm not going to continue as a delivery driver all my life. I had ambitions, and one of my ambitions was to become a school teacher, because having been educated in the old Linewall school, the Christian Brothers Preparatory School, I was adamant to prove that you don't have to be a sadist teacher. You can be a normal person. Strapping children and hitting them and smacking them every day is not the right way of teaching. And that really got into my head. How do I went through that. I mean, I was not a very good student, I can tell you. I used to get smacked every single day. Hated it. So my mind was, I'm going to become a teacher and prove that you don't have to be that sadist. Anyway, I'm conscious about the time, and I'm moving on, because how did I get to become a teacher? I applied for the grant. And in the interview, one of the questions was, have you got any experience of teaching? And I looked at the guy and said, how am I going to have experience of teaching? I've just come out of school, I'm young, and I want to be a teacher. And don't you think that question is... I think the questioner was a bit offended at my audacity to question his question. So, wasn't very successful, didn't get it, obviously. But it stayed in my mind that he was asking me to have some experience of teaching. I was still a driver, so I thought, well, I'm going to go to the Loreto Convent and ask them whether I can teach with them. And they allowed me to do basketball there, because at the time, I used to play basketball, a lot of basketball. So I offered, look, can I teach basketball? Yeah, of course you can. In the afternoon, so I taught basketball. Well, all right, now I've got the experience. Go back to the next year, to see if I can get the grant. And lo and behold, they asked me, have you got a place in college? Another question. How can I have a place in college if I have to do teaching practice here in Gibraltar for 1 year before I go to the college? Again, afuera, you're no good. So, all right, let's apply to a college. And I was so adamant, by hook or by crook, I was going to be a teacher. And I had been earning money, and my dad was willing to support me. So what did I do? I applied to a college, I got a place, and off I went with my money, no grant, my money and the help that my dad could give me. Ilkley College, in the middle of the Yorkshire Dales. And I went, oh my God, where have I applied? Within a week, I was out of there. So, I had money in my pocket, and I thought, off I go. I'm going to go and visit my friends who are studying in different places. So the nearest place was Trinity and All Saints College, where there were 8 Janitos there. So I spent a little bit of time, and one of them says to me, why don't you go to the recruitment officer? Went to the recruitment officer. You're a Gibraltarian, you're accepted. Thank you. Right, so he said, now what you've got to do is next year, the next academic year, you can come back. So I applied again for the grant. 3rd time lucky. No question about experience. I've got a college. Now, what the hell are you going to ask me now? I thought to myself, I actually got the grant. Wow, brilliant. So what I did was, I had to stay. I wrote to the college. They held the place for me for 1 year. I did my teaching practice, and I spent 4 years in Leeds. I've got to rush on now, because the next thing, after I was a teacher for 12 years, and during that time I became the president of the GTA and the president of the Gibraltar Trades Council. During that time, it was the fast launches. I was instrumental in trying to get rid of the fast launches. I think I did a good job, and we all in Gibraltar should be, saying, because it was to do with children. It was nothing to do with politics. As a teacher, I saw children painting Winston boxes and fast launches. That's not on. And I thought, if I'm politically, I hope I have about a minute to finish, if I am going to politically fight for people's self-determination to my people, who am I going to give it to? I cannot give it to people. I've got to give it to people who are educated, who do the right thing. So that's my journey as in a school teacher. After that, I became, in 2000, I presented myself for the second time, because in 1996, I presented myself for election after I did demonstration. I had my 15 Andy Warhol fame in the demonstration, but I think I was like Churchill. I won the war, but then I lost the election because I went to the election and I lost my deposit. In 2000, I'll go quickly. In 2000, that was the first time that I presented myself with the GSLP Liberals. I got into Parliament, worst thing that could have happened, because I got a slash in wages from 30,000 to 14,000. People were saying that I was going to resign, and I said, I'm going to stick to it. 11 years I stuck to it, and at the same time I became a lawyer. I've got now 3 children, earning that amount of money. The strength has been my wife, who was earning much more than I have, and together we've made it. Then I became in 2011 a minister, and as a minister I've done 14 different portfolios, and I think it's to do with all the trajectory that I've had. The Chief Minister Picardo says, este puede ser lo que sea, haz de todo lo que sea. And so basically, I'm just going to, in conclusion, I have enjoyed all the jobs that I have done. And when I haven't, the first thing I've said, I'm out of here. So my lesson for anybody is that if you wake up in the morning and you really don't want to go to work, don't do it. Leave the job. I know it's easier said than done, but I am mad enough, or at least I've done it, when I didn't like my job. Get your bags and go somewhere else. Thank you very much.